Breaking news: Beijing bankrolls, Panama Canal expansion. Lima unveils a sprawling, state-of-the-art megaport built by Chinese engineers and funded by billions in overseas investment. In Argentina, a historic $20 billion nuclear deal is inked with China, promising to reshape the nation's energy future and deepen ties between the two countries. These aren't predictions or distant possibilities. They're today's headlines, November 9, 2025. The world is watching as history unfolds in real time. Each headline is a piece of a much larger story, a quiet revolution taking place in America's backyard, one that's rewriting the rules of global influence. For decades, Washington shaped the world's view of Latin America, dictating policy and setting the agenda. But that era is fading, and a new chapter is being written. China is reshaping the continent, not with force or military might, but with money, technology, and relentless ambition. Hundreds of billions of dollars are flowing in, redrawing trade routes, forging new alliances, and shifting the balance of power across the hemisphere. This is a tectonic shift in global power, happening at a pace that few could have predicted. The world's economic center of gravity is tilting, and Latin America is at the heart of this transformation. While Washington's attention was elsewhere, China quietly laid the groundwork for a new era, one built on infrastructure, investment, and influence. This isn't just about bridges or factories, it's a long-term strategy to integrate Latin America into a new global order, with Beijing at its center, shaping the future of entire nations. A $300 billion investment, some call it a gamble, others a masterstroke. For China, it's a calculated move, designed to secure resources, markets, and influence for generations to come. The transformation is quiet, conducted in boardrooms, sealed with handshakes, and written into contracts that will shape the region's destiny. Latin American leaders now have new options, and a powerful new partner. They're forging relationships that promise prosperity, but also come with new dependencies. For the first time, they can look east for capital, technology, and opportunity, not just north to Washington or Wall Street. This choice is empowering, opening doors that were once closed. But it also brings new risks, new uncertainties, and new questions about sovereignty and control. The Monroe Doctrine, once the cornerstone of U.S. policy in the region, is being rendered obsolete. One port, one railway, one deal at a time. The world is changing, and nowhere is that change more dramatic, more visible, than in the cities and streets of Latin America. The old map is being redrawn before our eyes, as new trade routes, new alliances, and new ambitions take shape. The quiet revolution is here, transforming lives, economies, and the very future of the hemisphere. To truly understand the changes shaping our world today, we must first look back at the forces that defined the past. For nearly 2 centuries, the Monroe Doctrine stood as the cornerstone of U.S.-Latin America relations, shaping destinies across continents. President Monroe's message to Europe was clear: stay out of the Western Hemisphere. America enforced this warning, sometimes with diplomacy, but often with force. The U.S. backed coups, propped up dictators, and intervened whenever its interests were threatened, leaving a deep mark on the region's history. From Guatemala to Chile, Washington called the shots, deciding who held power and who did not. Many in Latin America saw the U.S. not as a friend, but as a domineering neighbor, shaping their futures from afar. American companies dominated local economies, earning the region the label "banana republics" and fueling resentment among workers and citizens. The U.S. dollar reigned supreme, and access to American markets often meant the difference between poverty and prosperity for entire nations. IMF and World Bank loans, shaped by Washington's priorities, came with strict conditions that often sparked controversy and hardship. For decades, the path to development and aid ran through Washington, D.C., making the U.S. the region's gatekeeper. But as the Cold War ended, America's attention shifted elsewhere, leaving old alliances to fade. Latin America was overlooked, creating a vacuum of influence and opportunity. Old resentments lingered, and frustration grew as people demanded change and a new direction. The stage was set for a new actor to emerge, ready to challenge the old order. The ghost of Monroe was about to meet a new age. Change was not just possible, it was inevitable. and the world would soon witness a dramatic shift. Into this vacuum stepped China, not with warships, but with container ships and business deals, reshaping the landscape of international relations in the region. China's approach was different, focused on business, not ideology, offering a pragmatic alternative to traditional Western influence. Beijing saw not just resources, but a vast market ripe for investment and collaboration, a chance to forge new economic ties. The strategy was economic, not military, aiming to create a web of mutual benefit and prosperity. Unlike the US, China didn't tie aid to political conditions, offering a refreshing change for many leaders. The offer was simple yet powerful. We need resources, you need infrastructure. Let's do business and grow together. No lectures, no demands for political change, just straightforward cooperation and mutual respect. This no-strings approach appealed to leaders tired of Washington's conditions, eager for a new path forward. China offered billions in loans and investments, moving faster than the West, seizing opportunities with agility. In 2000, China-Latin America trade was a modest $12 billion, a figure that would soon skyrocket. By 2025, it's projected to be over $500 billion, a testament to the rapid growth and deepening ties. China is now the top trading partner for Brazil, Chile, Peru, and Uruguay, reshaping regional dynamics. Chinese companies are building ports, roads, and power plants, laying the foundation for future growth. They finance projects the West deemed too risky, taking bold steps where others hesitated. Beijing is building a network of economic dependencies and goodwill, strengthening its foothold. China gains influence without firing a shot, using soft power to expand its reach. The dragon didn't conquer the hemisphere, it offered to build it, creating a new era of collaboration. For a region hungry for development, it was an offer too good to refuse, promising a brighter future. The rules of the game have changed forever, ushering in a new chapter in global trade and diplomacy. China's influence in Latin America is visible and concrete. Massive infrastructure projects are transforming the continent. In Peru, Costco's Chancay megaport is a game-changer, rerouting trade for generations. China is building railways and highways to move resources directly to ports. The Bioceanic Railway aims to connect Brazil's Atlantic coast to Peru's Pacific. China's footprint is digital too. Huawei dominates telecom, building 4G and 5G networks. This brings connectivity, but also security concerns in Washington. From lithium mines in Bolivia to a space station in Argentina, China's presence is diverse. These projects are nodes in a network serving China's interests. For Latin America, they bring jobs and growth, but also deeper integration with Beijing. Why is China's offer so compelling? Unlike Western loans, Chinese financing comes with fewer political strings, no demands for austerity, privatization, or political reform. China provides fast funding for dams, railways, and ports. This pragmatism appeals to leaders weary of Washington's lectures. Even US allies embrace Chinese investment to diversify partnerships. But no strings is a slogan. China's deals often require using Chinese firms or collateralizing resources. The strings are commercial, not ideological. For many, this is a trade-off worth making. They prefer economic obligations to political demands. China's approach is changing the region's development model. China's activities in Latin America are part of the Belt and Road Initiative, its blueprint for a new world order. Launched in 2013, the BRI aims to connect continents with infrastructure, placing China at the center. In 2017, Latin America joined the BRI, eager for capital and development. 21 countries have signed on, seeing new opportunities for growth. Ports, railways, and 5G networks are now nodes in China's global network. The BRI binds Latin America's economic future to Beijing. It's more than economics, it's geopolitics. The global balance of power is shifting. China's arrival brings historic opportunity and risk. New infrastructure fuels growth and jobs, giving nations real choices. But many deals are loans, not aid, raising fears of debt traps. If countries can't pay, China can seize strategic assets. Environmental and social costs are high: deforestation, pollution, and displacement. Chinese companies often face criticism for ignoring local concerns. There's also the risk of political over-reliance. Economic dependence may lead to political pressure from Beijing. Latin America must balance benefits with sovereignty and values. The tightrope is real. Washington was slow to notice China's rise in Latin America. Now the US is scrambling to respond as its influence wanes. The American response warnings about debt traps and security risks. But these warnings often sound paternalistic and lack alternatives. US companies can't match China's scale or speed. Government initiatives lag behind Beijing's Belt and Road. The Monroe Doctrine no longer keeps rivals out. America's tools are less effective than China's state-led model. To compete, the US needs a new vision, one based on respect, shared values, and real investment. The game has changed, and Washington must adapt. The region is watching. Latin America stands at the epicenter of global change. The era of a single dominant power is over. A multipolar reality has arrived. For the first time, these nations have real options and agency. One path leads to deeper integration with China, promising growth, but with risks. Another is realignment with the US, offering values, but less economic muscle. A third path, strategic autonomy, balancing both superpowers and forging regional alliances. The US must treat Latin America as an equal partner. China must prove its intentions are truly mutual. The future will be decided by Latin Americans themselves. Their choices will shape not just their continent, but the global order. The world is watching to see what Latin America will become.